Yeah, all I have is all I need. I'm going to start off with a download by Ernest Holmes, God expressing as Ernest Holmes. I have given you all. I have implanted freedom, individuality, and self-choice within you. Finally, through experience, will you learn a better and wiser way. That's this journey of life we're on. We say every Sunday, God is all there is, but I'm not sure we really get it. We may get it here, but I'm not sure we get it right here. You and I exist because God exists. That's a big deal. There is only one, and we are the unique, individualized expression of that one life that created everything. There is an irresistible urge in that energy and power that we call spirit, that we call God, that we call infinite intelligence. An irresistible urge that has to create, that has to share its fire, its creativity, its imagination. It has to express it. Thus, we are the result of that need, that irresistible urge for God to create. We are the way that infinite life knows itself. That's a big job if we put it that way, but it's a big deal if we can put ourselves in that kind of container, that we are the unique expression of this infinite good, this infinite love, this magnificent energy. Wow! Think of all we can be. Now, if you think about it, every one of us is unique, but we don't lose our oneness and our uniqueness. Now, let me explain that for a minute. It's like, well, there's many different analogies, but it's like a wave in the ocean. The ocean is the allness of itself. And a wave can't just be a wave. It can only be the ocean as a wave. Are you getting what I'm saying? We can't just be individuals. We can't just be people. We are God expressing as our unique selves. That's what Jesus meant when he said, "It is the Father within that doeth the work." It's the Father within, the Mother within, the goodness within, the God within that works through us. How magnificent is that? We're like this wave on the ocean of life, expressing in our own unique way. And of course, I have to add a little line by my best friend who says, and this has got to make us feel better, "The ocean takes care of each wave until it gets to the shore." You know why I love him so much? So if we know that we are each a unique expression of God, of goodness, of all of that, how much more magnificent can it be, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's like, wait a second, I'm not sure, because there is one little caveat to all of that. Yes, we are born from greatness, from allness, from infinite goodness, but when we're born, we don't remember that. Because in order for God, Spirit, whatever you want to call this, to create a spontaneous, ever-evolving being, it has to leave it alone so it can awaken to itself. So even though we're part of this oneness and this magnificence, we're alone in our awakening to figure it out. Does that make sense? Well, wake up. We suffer because we fall asleep and we don't choose to wake ourselves up. We start looking around, and don't feel bad, because a lot of it's from the conditioning we get from our parents and our culture and our society and the collective consciousness. So a lot of it is conditioning, but we're here because we are to evolve and wake up to all that. And we start comparing ourselves. We either compare ourselves to be better, But there's always somebody that's better in certain areas. So we compare ourselves to be better, to feel better, or we compare ourselves to be not enough, and sometimes to get really comfortable down there too. Comparison kills our uniqueness. The only thing that we should be comparing is ourselves to our previous self. Did you get that? We need to compare ourselves with our previous self because remember, we're waking up to the magnificence that's already there. We've been given everything we need right now. So if you want to be complaining, that's the other thing. Comparison and complaining, those two C's, they're just complaining. If we complain, we're going to keep ourselves shut off to the good that's there. Now, I heard somebody say, whenever you complain, there'll always be those people that want to come to your rescue and say, oh, no, you're so much better than that. Oh, and they want to hug you and make you feel good. And then there's those people who'll say, okay, do you want to stay unhappy? And they'll wake you up. Don't do that, guys. I was thinking of if I said to Kirk, oh, I feel really fat today and these pants are really tight. And if he said, do you want to stay fat? Then that would not work. So be careful how you use this. He knows better. But just be careful how you use that. You have to really understand that. But we want to help people realize, hey, instead of complaining, realize where you are. We're creating our experiences. And we have choices. If we're lugging a bunch of stuff from the past, it's the stuff that's not good, that we don't like, and we continue complaining about it, some of those things we just need to let go of. Other things we need to find the blessings in, the really difficult things in life, we have to transform into a greater understanding and turn it into a blessing. Do you know what I mean? Those things that are so difficult. And then sometimes we just need to have a bigger idea. We need to be in the prayer and the possibility. I'm going to tell you something. For every question we have, every challenge we have, every difficulty we have, there is a solution right here. We have to make space for it. We have to be aware and awake, not just to what's going on in our little world, to a bigger world. There's messages coming all the time. There's wisdom and intuition that wants to be revealed. But we have to wake up to it. We can't be asleep and fall into the comparison and the complaining and the whining. We need to realize that we are each the individualized expression of God. Now, God is never individual because God doesn't work in fragments. We're individualized expressions. We are unique. And just as we say there's no two fingerprints alike, there's no two people that are exactly alike. Isn't that amazing? That God, Spirit, has put something different and special in each one of us. We're all packaged exactly as we're meant to be packaged, to learn the lessons we need to learn on this beautiful path, sometimes beautiful, not so fun sometimes, but on this path of growth and evolution, we all have just exactly what we need if we're willing to own it and realize it and be it. God doesn't fragment itself. It expresses its creativity as all of us. Now, the way we mold this stuff we have, this energy that's been given to us, this uniqueness, is we each have a personality, and that's the way we express our individuality. And as you know, our personalities can be honed, be changed, be trimmed, and be molded in a little different way. We sculpt this energy we've been given, this diversity in us, we sculpt it into this personality to show up in the world. Can you imagine if you and I tried to sculpt ourselves to be somebody else? When we don't have that same stuff in us, it would lead to disappointment, resentment, frustration. We have to work on the gifts that we have been given so we can show up in the way we're meant to show up. I love the Well, you know how I get into mystics, because mystics all speak the same language, and they bring the unity to life because they've risen above the right, wrong, good, bad, yes, no, and they live in this energy of oneness and understanding. Now, the ancient Hindus all knew there was one presence, one power existing everywhere, infusing everything, animating everything. I talked last week about the Bhagavad Gita, the ancient Indian text. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, who is God, said, "The wise ones find God within. The deluded do not see." Delusion means false beliefs that we think are true. And I want us to ask, how many false beliefs are we living with right now? We're not enough, there's not enough goodness in life, limitation, separation, whatever it is. What are the false beliefs that call us to be something more? Because I'm not saying life is always to be comfortable, but it's to be expanding and growing. Another Indian mystic, Kabir, 15th century mystic, he has a great little container about being fully alive. And he said, "Friend, I hope you experience," and he calls God the guest while you're alive. Jump into the experience while you're alive. Think and think more. Learn and learn more while you're alive. The salvation you think of is the time before death. When you leave, and if you're still holding on to the ropes of attachment, do you expect the ghosts to fix it? What that tells me so far is wherever we go, there we are. We take with us all we've learned from this beautiful, difficult, strange, creative thing we call life. We take that with us on our journeys through this life, because when this body is no longer a good vessel for this life, we move on, but we take it all with us. And he said, if you find nothing now, when you pass, you'll build an apartment in the nothingness. But imagine what would happen if you loved God with all your heart and soul right now. To me, that's a message that we're here to wake up. Now, I think it's important we know, yes, that God is, we are individualized expressions of God, not individuals. Well, here's one for you. Okay, here, this is one that I had to think on for a while, but we individualize the universal, right? But we also universalize the individual. Huh? What? Huh? How do we do that? Well, each of us is on a journey, right? It's a full circle. We come from oneness, and we journey back to oneness. But what we're to take with us is the full possession and expression of our individual uniqueness. We are to come back fully awake and aware. And so that's how we individualize the universal. We come back fully expressed. But we're not to do this alone. Multiplicity does not deny or contradict unity. There's diversity in unity. And what you and I are to do here is to cooperate in unity. Now, I have this quote by Ernest Holmes, and I can hardly say this one because it means so much to me. When I think about what message I have for Sunday, I always go back to ending with one 4-letter word: love. And sometimes I think, is it always about love? And you know what the answer is? Yes, it is. Because this is what Ernest Holmes says. Love is the highest principle that life has to give us. Because it is life acting in unity with itself. Love is life acting in unity with itself. You see, when we claim our own uniqueness, our own special gift of God, of goodness, of love, of joy, it's so much easier to see it in others. When we do that, we can join each other hand in hand. Diverse, and God loves diversity. Why don't we? Why don't we love it that much? Because we're afraid of it sometimes. We need to learn to be hand in hand and move forward to a common goal, to learn to work together in that place of love. How do we do that? Well, I think we do that by uniting the two worlds. You and I are divinely human. We are spiritual beings having this human experience, and we need to connect the two worlds. So I'm going to have you, just in this moment, I don't want you to leave here the same person you came in. I want us all to have a little broader, wider expression of who we are. So unravel yourselves so you're this beautiful vessel and vehicle for the power and presence of God's love. And take a few moments right now just to breathe deeply. Breathe in your nose, out your mouth, just breathing in to become fully aware of the potency of this moment. This moment is the space and place where God, where love, where goodness lives. This is the place right here, right now, where possibilities reside. This is the place of infinite potentiality here in this moment. So keep breathing, and I'm going to speak these words, and I want you to listen with your inner ear, see with your inner eye, and connect to the place within you that holds your divine self, that inner urge within you to grow and become and evolve right here and now. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going across the door sill between the two worlds. The door is wide and open. Don't go back to sleep. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are crossing the door sill where the two worlds meet. The door is wide and open. Don't go back to sleep. And in that place, I'll just plant 3 questions before you come back completely. What would you need right now to love yourself more? To know you are the perfect expression and uniqueness of God's creativity? What would you need right now in this moment to believe in yourself more? To know that you've been imbued with all the gifts of everything you need right here and right now. And what would you need right now, in this moment, to trust enough to surrender and let God be God as the unique divine expression of you? Let those questions just be fertilized in the soil of your divine self. And if you have a question, Hafez said, I asked a bird, how do you fly in the gravity of darkness? How do you fly in the gravity of this darkness And the bird said, I let love lift me up. And that's what I ask for us. As we leave today and let the love that's ever present for self, for others, for life, for experiences lift us up, that we can truly be alive. Even though we don't have the visible wings of an angel, let us fly with the power of love for ourselves, for one another, for this thing we call life, however it's showing up, because we know in this moment we have everything we need. I know sometimes we can do this alone, but we really need each other. So let this community be the one that supports you if you're down, that lifts you when you're up, that says, hooray, 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 we're in this together and we're alive. So I'm going to ask right now, let's just repeat this again right now together. Let's stand up. I am alive. I'm alert. I'm enthusiastic. I feel good. I look good. I am good. I'm really good. And look at the person next to you and say, and so are you. And so are you. And together, we make this a better world. And so it is. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you.